Guten Morgen! Wie geht es dir? Es ist gut? Und 3 November? Ich kleine meine Bleistift bitte. You know what I just said? May I please sharpen my pencil? My German ends in 7th grade. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is about perspective this morning. This is about putting things in context this morning. And so why the hackneyed German? In fact, that perhaps was not hackneyed German. My wife Krista and I both grew up in Lebanon County, so it's probably more Pennsylvania Dutch than 7th grade German. Why German? Why Germany? Because if you consider this greater Philadelphia region, 6.1 million citizens, 2.5 million of those individuals getting up and going to work every single day. A gross regional project of $380 billion. 100,061 enterprises conducting over $700 billion in sales annually. That's the economy of Germany. That is your greater Philadelphia region. That is the 11 counties that we call Greater Philadelphia. And we are a mighty, powerful economic engine. By any measurable statistic in the United States, we're either number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. By any statistic, from the relative price of our housing to degrees attained. But in 2013, and in fact, let's not even worry about today, let's start thinking about tomorrow, in 2020 and in 2025, in an increasing globalized and developing world, locales and municipalities don't compete against locales and municipalities on this side of the county line or that side of the county line, on this side of the Delaware River or on that side of the Delaware River. Metropolitan regions that excel compete globally with other regions. So the context and the perspective today, in the moments that I have with you this morning as you begin your conference, is to understand that our greater Philadelphia region is poised for economic excellence, intellectual greatness, and an ability for the citizens in this region to thrive, to achieve their goals and aspirations, regardless of whatever they might be. Now let's break down those numbers in a bit more detail as we talk about the economic verticals that drive our economy. And many of you, for many years, are very familiar with what drives the greater Philadelphia's economy. So what I thought I would do this morning is maybe talk about some permutations and some variations and some green shoots of economic opportunity that we see in those verticals. So of course, what drives in part this region's economy is our eds and meds. We have 101 colleges and universities in the 11 county greater Philadelphia region. It accounts for close to 300,000 employees that work in our higher ed establishments. And the good news is, measure to measure, literally brick by brick, these institutions continue to invest in the greater Philadelphia region. In fact, at the depths of the Great Recession, this region on an economic basis was sustained in part by the capital investments made by our higher education institutions. And they continue to invest in capital, whether it be a latte bar or a rock climbing wall at a private liberal arts institution that some of us are paying for in our tuition bills, to wet and dry labs, to nanofabrication facilities, to advanced satellite facilities organized around the adult lifelong learner. Our research enterprise, our higher education enterprise is fueling the knowledge capital and the bricks and mortar of this region. And so stay tuned. Exciting things are happening in that sector and in this space across the greater Philadelphia region. Drexel University, for example, is making a significant real estate and knowledge play to bring Drexel University down literally to the doorsteps of 30th Street Station and suburban locations throughout the greater Philadelphia region. The University of Delaware in Newark purchased the old Chrysler plant out of bankruptcy. It is now developing a multifaceted, mixed-use industrial and academic facility that will be involved in everything from the development of composite materials, data systems, and a teaching and medical institution with a partnership of our very own Philadelphia Thomas Jefferson University. There is significant economic activity in this space and a very positive forecast for the future. Hospitality and tourism. We are at, here in vicinity of King of Prussia, the single most important destination in the greater Philadelphia region, even more so than the Liberty Bell or Independence Mall. And great plans are afoot here in King of Prussia through the landowners, the new owners of the King of Prussia Mall, a vibrant and growing and thoughtful King of Prussia business district, which is a reset of how people will come to this particular part of the region to spend discretionary dollars and to stay overnight. And one of the untold stories of the greater Philadelphia region over the last 10 years is hospitality and tourism, for which now we are a destination. People come here for business and leisure, travel and tourism, and they're staying here. They're not doing day trips anymore. They're staying 1, 2, and 3 nights. Raise your hand if you've ever stayed 3 nights to do the Inner Harbor in Baltimore. Well, the Orioles must have been playing the Phillies, Carmine, in an interleague game. It's the only reason why you would stay 3 nights in Inner Harbor, Baltimore. But now you're coming to this region. Your friends, your families, and folks we don't even know from around the world are coming to this region to spend their discretionary dollars because we have this quality of life. We have choice, we have variety, we have history, we have beer. By the way, it's been said my 2 best friends are right here, Yingling and Lager, right? Seriously, I'm driving through the borough of Pottstown a couple of weeks ago, and there was a pub with a sign, "Join us for Philly Beer Week" in Pottstown. People come because we can bring the spice of life, no matter what it might be, and we're getting really good at it in terms of micro-targeting interests and lifestyle throughout the region. And that will continue to sustain this economy in many years to come. A key vertical that we see a lot of growth and opportunity is the resurgence of our manufacturing economy in the greater Philadelphia region. Now, it only accounts for about 6% of the total employment base in the greater Philadelphia region. If you compare that number to post-World War II, about 42% of citizens in this region used to work in our manufacturing economy. It's down to 6%, and the definition of manufacturing is no longer smokestack, oil on the floor, clunky machinery, and poor quality of work environment. It's modern, complex, clean manufacturing that is on the move, coming to the greater Philadelphia region and expanding in this region for a very simple reason. Marcellus Shale, low-priced, and sustainable supply of natural gas. The greater Philadelphia region, the economy of Germany, has always been a great place to produce something and send it out into the market for consumer consumption. Now, with that great location combined with a low-cost energy source, people want to come and set up shop in Philadelphia. We spent a lot of time working with companies from around the world through our subsidiary Select Greater Philadelphia. And now, 3 out of every 5 of our leads of companies we talk to are manufacturers from abroad that want to come to the greater Philadelphia region because we have something now more to offer. Long-term, sustained, and stable, low energy prices. And so when you combine that economic opportunity with our Tier 1 research institutions. What you'll also see in terms of economic growth and opportunity over the next several years is fascinating work around things like composite materials or seismic technology that will be integrated with nanotechnology and then applied to horizontal fracking in the shale areas in the Commonwealth. And by the way, these are technologies that are under development or being incubated and through startup companies that are here in the greater Philadelphia region. So one knot has to be up on a shale pad in Lycoming County or converting wet gas in southwestern Pennsylvania and Houston, Pennsylvania to take advantage of the opportunities that abundant natural energy source is providing our greater Philadelphia region. So wow, we are well positioned to make hay in 2013, 2018, 2025, except for three overarching and critical issues that we must address. These are underlying and they're overarching. And they're really the only three things that are in our way to civic, citizen, and economic greatness. And they're somewhat all interrelated as well. So the first is poverty. Is poverty in the greater Philadelphia region. And since the Great Recession, since 2007, the poverty rate in the 11 county greater Philadelphia region has grown by about 4 percentage points. On average, it's about 13%. What that means is there is an inability for a citizen on their own or in a household to live within the means that they are being provided on a daily, monthly, and yearly basis without significant economic hardship and consequences to be able to be satisfied to meet certain basic needs: food, housing, clothing, education. Of course, the most pronounced area of that poverty is Philadelphia, where the region's average is about 13%. Philadelphia is now 28%, the leading metro or urban area in America with systemic and abject poverty. But what has changed in the greater Philadelphia region, and particularly here in southeastern Pennsylvania, in the traditional collar counties as it relates to the poor and the working poor, is that it is now adjacent to significant wealth. And it's no longer an urban issue. It's a suburban issue. It just looks a little bit different and maybe a little bit harder to find. But it is real, it is significant, and it is a significant barrier for us to achieve our economic goals for this great region. The second, somewhat interrelated to the first, is our education delivery system, both at the K through 12 level and at the higher education level. And this is a function not so much of institutional thinking around the subject or extreme ideology on the right or the left. It's just a function of our state and local government that's ripe for modernization. Because the data is undeniable that the outcomes that are basic measures of success were falling behind in the classic reading, writing, and arithmetic in the K through 12 space. And in the higher ed space, as I mentioned earlier, we've got 101 colleges and universities in this region. This is all about aligning the higher ed, grade 13, 14, 15, and 16, 17, lifelong learning, aligning what is taught, what is gathered, with what you need as the workforce of today and tomorrow. Now, I was very honored last year to have the opportunity to chair on behalf of Governor Corbett a commission on higher education that looked at the whole issue of what is the future of higher education in the Commonwealth. And what it really is not a beginning or an end. It's organizing our higher ed or post-secondary institutions across this Commonwealth in such a way that there is on and off ramps to learning opportunities as one goes through their life and career as citizens in this Commonwealth. A senior graduating from one of Pennsylvania's institutions last year will have between 7 and 11 job changes during the course of their career. 3 or 4 of those jobs have yet to be invented. Now, one of our key recommendations is to lay in a system of performance measures that will then increasingly determine how we contribute to a $1.6 billion public outlay in our higher education system. And so we're hoping by fiscal year 16, fiscal year 17, in the Commonwealth's budget, that higher institution, whether it be a community college or Penn or Swarthmore or Sinus, will be measured on outputs. How well are they aligning their curriculum with you, the employers? What is the market saying for a particular degree or program? Are you working better together in terms of consolidating programs, institutions, back office functions? A balanced scorecard, if you will, of outcomes to help retool and modernize our higher education system here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. In the K through 12 space, we believe at the Greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce that it's long overdue for us to look at the basic education funding formula that funds K through 12. We've not really thought about that formula in well over a decade, and it probably is out of sync with the emerging demographic of a Pennsylvania citizen, which brings me to our third issue that we need to overcome. And that is, we are a new Greater Philadelphia region. We are a new Pennsylvania, Southern New Jersey, and Northern Delaware. We are new because people that are new to the United States are coming here. We are a place where people from all over the world are coming. And it's no longer an urban issue. In fact, if you look at the census data from the last decade, people coming from outside of the U.S. to this region are coming to suburbia first. They're coming to Upper Gwynedd, they're coming to Bridgeport, they're coming to Coatesville, they're coming to Euclid Township. They're coming here. They're no longer coming to urban America or urban Philadelphia. But yet our institutions, whether they be private or public or not-for-profit, are still organized with a different type of orientation that does not necessarily embrace multiculturalism, doesn't necessarily embrace new individuals coming to this community. But yet if we can figure that out as a region, if we can leverage the mind share of someone that's coming here from West Africa, East Europe, Latin America, that will help continue to energize innovation, the economy, and opportunities for your enterprises, for your organizations, and for those individuals. So look, we have 3 overarching issues that we have to overcome: abject poverty, education delivery system, and an embracing attitude and organized effort around new citizens to our region. That's what we have to work on together. Now, I'm 75% through my remarks, and for the first time I'm going to mention transportation. Because I said at the outset, we have to put everything in perspective. We have the economy the size of Germany. We have economic verticals that are the envy of the world. We have individuals and organizations throughout this community that know how to get things done. So when you consider the need about every 10 years or so, and it's rather routine, every 10 years or so, to make proper investments in our road and bridge system, in our multimodal port system, in our transit systems, in all due respect, folks, it's a layup. It's routine. There's no reason why a vote that takes barely 1 minute shouldn't have occurred 2 years ago. But maybe we've lost our perspective on this issue, maybe slightly out of kilter. So I'm going to take an uneducated stab on why I think we can't handle this layup, this public policy layup called transportation funding in the moments I have remaining with you. Because let's face it, if the facts of the case aren't sufficient to drive this easy vote into the books that will result in close to $3 billion of mostly private sector spend, 30,000 jobs created, nodes and pinch points addressed in terms of mobility, capital programs released to improve our bridge and infrastructure so people can be actually safe or safer. If facts are not going to move to a vote, then it must be something else. It must be something else. So maybe it's not even ideology. We've been hearing a lot about that lately. We've been hearing, well, it's those very conservative Republicans from Western Pennsylvania. They're the problems why we can't get this bill done in Harrisburg. Or the urban Democrats, wherever they might be, in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh or York, can't get their act together on transit. Or, I might have a primary opponent, and I'd rather not deal with the issue at this point in time. To me, I think the reason why this bill is 2 years overdue from becoming law is because we've lost our perspective. We've lost our perspective. We've allowed opinion, rhetoric, a media culture that allows you to pick your own ideological perspective, right? So, cable television, if you're right of center, there's a cable television for you. If you're left of center, there's a cable television station for you. And so what is happening in our public dialogue is superficial cocktail banter as opposed to just a very simple statement that says, this is an easy vote. This is the layup vote. This is not a hard thing to work on. Let's get this out of the way so we can work on the three big issues that are holding back a world-class economy in 2020. Poverty, education, and a changing and interesting cultural dynamic with our citizens. Easy as peas. So I had a wise old sage tell me once that never forget, it's the thing that's the thing that's the thing. So what's the thing? That's the thing. That's the thing. Well, the thing is a yes vote that will take barely a minute on something like Senate Bill 1 or its equivalent. And then the thing is, let's get to work on the real issues of the day that drive the future of our economy. Because ultimately the thing is a vibrant region for all of our citizens. I have no doubt that we will deal with the thing, and then the thing, to get to the thing. Sophocles said once, one must wait for the sun to set to see how splendid the day has been. This conference, the time you will spend together in concurrent sessions and with your keynote at lunch, is about working at a tactical level to get things done because you care about the economy of this region, you care about your friends and your neighbors, you care about your profession of transportation and mobility. And I have no doubt that someday all of you will be able to look back on the body of your work in the sunset of your life, and you'll be able to say to yourself, it was splendid, splendid indeed.